I kept thinking like we should do an introduction where you say something and I could do the music, and I'm like in my head, da 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 da. I go, nope,
Wait, no, that's Superman.
If you've got a thirst for knowledge and a love for craft beer, then tune in to our podcast and let us bend your ear. From UFOs to rock and roll, you'll be ROTFL, you're AO. Saying, are you shitting me?
You know what's funny is I actually did the same fucking thing, and it was a Superman theme as well. I was like, no, that's not it.
that's not it.
John Williams, though. So,
oh, same guy.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. That's why they sound the same.
Yeah. Welcome to another edition of Are You Shitting Me? My name's Aaron.
I'm Brett.
And thank you for joining us here. We are already laughing about this, and we're going to be talking about Star Wars today, which is, I don't know, it's one of my favorite of all time. I don't know about you, how you feel about that.
Yeah, definitely. I enjoyed Star Wars when I was growing up.
Not so much more recently for me, but yes, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Before we jump, though, I got to say, I see the mustache, man. What's going on there?
I got a little
Salvador Dali actually going on.
Thank you. That's exactly what I was trying to say. I wasn't ready for it. Yeah, Salvador Dali going on. Yeah, got
Lord look.
The little. I see what you did. I got growing out the mustache and curling it, and I'm not 100% on board with it yet, but neither is Jen. But yeah, it is what it is.
I did that once for a little while, and I tried it, and it grew out for a little while, and I hated it. I think because people just look at you, and I'm like, I don't really care about anyone paying attention. I'm not an attention kind of person like that. Not that I'm saying you're doing it for attention.
Oh yeah,
I didn't like it.
I will say I got a local brewery, went in, and both bartenders like, oh, I like your mustache. Thanks. Yeah, it is what it is. See if I can get a picture of that and post it.
Yeah. So if you're watching on video, if you're watching on YouTube, then you'll see it.
That's right. It's for those of you just listening to audio, it's not that impressive. It is our curly mustache.
But you do have the curl pretty down there, man. I'm impressed by the curls.
Yeah, it
looks very nice.
I think you told me get the extra hold.
Yeah, it works great, doesn't it?
Went straight to it. I use it on Monday, and I've got it for days. It's awesome. I can wash it and everything, and 2 days later, it goes whoop right back.
There you go. All right. Before we jump into it, let's open up our beer. You found this one, actually, which I'm excited about. It's C3 IPA. Obviously, it's an IPA. Let's take a sidebar here for a second here.
Yeah.
IPAs, like, all I'm ever finding anymore is IPA. The other beer is going away. Is IPA just taking over? Is it because it's such an easy one to brew? Or is it? I don't get why it's such a big thing.
We should probably ask a brewer, but yes, I think that's part of the problem is that it's easy, it's quick, and you just pump it out. And I think additionally, I think IPAs are, I don't want to say it's a resurgence because I know that they were super popular just a few years ago, but maybe it's maintained its popularity. I don't know. Yeah. It's not from, I can tell you right now, I'm probably not going to like this, but the can is cool because it's got the head, or at least from, I don't know, the mouth, or what would be the nose, maybe
nose up
of C3PO, popular character from Star Wars. We had said we were going to do a Star Wars episode. Then as soon as I saw this, I'm like, fuck yeah.
This is it. So C3 IPA, it is a 6% ABV. It's by Bear Brewing out of Denver, Colorado. And it says on the can that it's brewed with Cascade, Centennial, and Chinook hops.
One of my favorite helicopters.
That's right. Yes. Oh, it smells like an IPA, man. It's clear. I like it. Very clear. Oh, I don't mind that. Interesting. It's got a little bit more of a German style taste to it. I don't know. Lagery a little bit. The back taste of it. I don't know. It's sweet too. The very first taste is sweet, and then it's kind of lagery in the back.
As everybody knows, I love IPAs. You know what? In all fairness, we did taste an IPA recently that initially I did not care for it at all, but this is probably gonna be the same. I don't necessarily enjoy it. I definitely don't enjoy a beer shower, but
it's got two things going against it already.
I see what you mean about there. Yeah, there. It's a very short-lived, sweet taste to it.
Begin with, and then it has that kind of like Grolsch kind of taste in the back of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna call it bitter, but you can call it Grolsch. It's delicious.
We will come back and taste it here later on. So,
Oh my God, why is my beer exploding everywhere? What'd you do?
it's Force powers, man. I'm setting the Force over the thing, like Darth Vader style.
My goodness.
The Star Wars, man. Let's get into it. What's
Yeah,
your first Star Wars memory? Did you see the first Star Wars in the theater?
I did. So I was living in Germany at the time. So I'm sure that I saw it on the military base, the army base there in Germany, Vielflecken, Germany. And yeah, so saw it in the movies and then instantly fell in love.
I don't know if I remember seeing it in the theater. That was only 4. I know I saw it before Empire, obviously, because I knew the story already. I don't remember really the first time I watched it. I do remember my first experience with Empire. I was like 7, so obviously we're into things at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it was so popular that my dad, at least, and my brother, who's a little bit older than me, wanted to go see it, and so I tagged along
Yeah.
as far as I can remember.
I do remember the holiday special.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I don't remember seeing it as a kid. I think just the timing. We didn't have cable. I'm sure it was on.
You're overseas too at that point. I believe.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I don't remember when that come out. Like 79,
78.
78.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I definitely still in Germany, and there was one English speaking channel there. No, I don't recall seeing that at all. But to do research, I did go back and watch it here recently. So
yeah,
it stands up still. Let me tell you.
I do remember seeing it. I was 5, and I think I remember enjoying it at the time because I was 5.
It was Star Wars.
But then I too went back and watched it, not just recently. I saw it a few years back, and I thought, holy wow, this is crap. This is just
It's awful.
And it's funny because people obviously it's a very highly collectible thing having an original copy of it. But man, it's
Yeah, I had read, and I am not surprised at all, that Harrison Ford wanted nothing to do with that Star Wars special.
yeah.
But because it was leading into Empire, it was just a really good marketing strategy. And so that's why they got everybody on board for it. But awful.
So talking about Harrison Ford here for a second, because this is interesting. I was doing a lot of, I didn't do a lot
He
of
might
research.
be joining us, by the way. He might be joining our convo.
What? I met him actually once. Yeah, it was really cool. He was filming a film in DC when I was living there. And it was funny because like they were filming in between cuts. Me and my friends were all standing there. We were being so obnoxious, like, Indiana, Han Solo. And I'm sure he gets that all the time. He's kind of like an asshole. But finally, he came over and shook our hands and said hi and thanks. And that was kind of neat. Interesting enough, I've seen a lot of arguments or theories online that he doesn't maybe not like his role as Han Solo. And he's asked several times to be killed off early on, like before Jedi, he wanted to be killed off. And he didn't want to come back and do some of these things. His career also, at that point, was also jetting off to Indiana Jones and other things too. Obviously, he doesn't need Star Wars to be a star anymore. I don't know. I thought that was really interesting that he did. And obviously, we know that he does die off later on.
Yeah. Did you see his Jeep commercial for the
Yeah.
Super Bowl? I thought that was clever.
Yeah, it was cool. I dig that.
That was a good one. Yeah. And I can't remember. I don't know where it is in my notes. Who was it? There was somebody, now a famous actor as well, that had
Auditioned?
auditioned, or who was the first choice for it. I don't know if you have that.
I do have that list, actually, which I thought was really interesting. Al Pacino was on the top, which I don't know. Burt Reynolds.
Oh.
I feel like that would have been too much like a Smokey and the Bandit kind of thing. I like Burt Reynolds, but like he really has one character, and that's it. Although I guess Harrison Ford's a little more dynamic to me than Christopher Walken.
Oh, it was
Uses the Force a lot.
that might have been the one that I saw. Yeah, it's like, oh, that's an interesting choice.
That would have been a completely right turn. Kurt Russell. I actually think Kurt Russell probably could have.
That's who it was. It was Kurt Russell.
I feel like he could have done that. Of this list that I have here, he's probably my only pick that I would say, all right, I could see him as. The other 3 are Nick Nolte, Sylvester Stallone, and Tom Selleck. We'd have 2 Wookiees talking to each other and the fucking pulling
you talk to each other.
Yeah, but we wouldn't be able to stand either of them.
How come Chewbacca only speaks in Wookiee, but he understands English? Just saying.
He's an asshole. He doesn't want to change. He's like, why should I change for you? You change for me.
You talk my language, motherfucker. Oh, wow.
My first real experience, I think, for Star Wars was Empire. We were obviously, I knew it. We had some of the toys already. I had seen the movie several times, the first one, but like my memory of Empire, my parents took us to go see it, and it was just amazing. Obviously, we loved it. And more to the point was we walked out, and there was another showing happening right next door. That line was going in. My dad goes, "Come on, guys." And we just walked right in with him and saw it again, back to back. It was awesome.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You owe somebody $4.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah. I think that the marketing for Empire Strikes Back was maybe next level. I don't have that. I never saw any stats on that, but I think that they really figured out that they could do a lot more with marketing. And so maybe that's why I remember Empire Strikes Back more than Star Wars.
Yeah, I remember. You're right, because it was in like Burger King, Hardee's, and all those things had these things. I remember actually going and they had these big posters where you had to, with every meal, you get a different sticker, and so you had to put the whole thing together to
Right.
make a big poster of Darth Vader. And I had the C-3PO cereal, and everything was Star Wars.
Yeah. You remember the to hold your action figures? It was like a big Darth Vader head that kind of opened up, and yeah,
that was always cool.
I think that, don't get me wrong, I think Star Wars also just had great marketing, and the little 6-inch, 5-inch guys with the lightsabers and whatever, those were cool. And they had the capes, and we played with those. My brother and I played with those all the time. Loved those. But what I remember about marketing is Empire Strikes Back.
I think too, it goes back to going back to our episode where we talked about cartoons. Like it's that time, it was cartoon morning, we'd see commercials for Star Wars toys. It was big into our world, that marketing of toys to kids at that time. It's huge.
There wasn't a Star Wars Saturday cartoon, was there?
I don't remember it
I don't
being a
know.
Star Wars Saturday cartoon. I don't think so. But I do remember the commercials. And I remember going, "Oh, I need this, and I got to get this, and oh, this is really cool."
Yeah, I remember people having, what was the little creature from the beginning of Empire that we sliced open to stay warm?
Oh yeah,
Tauntauns.
Tauntauns. Yeah, let us know about on the outside.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember they had one that had a little slit in the belly that you could get your figure in there, and figure, not finger.
Just to clarify. Nice. The toys were it though. Did you have a lot of the toys?
No, I just had the figures. I know I had the three main people. I had Chewbacca, R2D2, C3PO, and Yoda.
Those are the four main people in the movie.
So I had Luke, I had Han, I had Princess Leia, C3PO.
Oh, those guys too as well.
Those main people. And then, yeah, Yoda, and then the robots, the droids.
Yeah.
So I never had, who was the orange droid? It looked like R2D2, but
I know we had him too. We had all the characters.
I did not. Okay.
We had 6 Yodas though, and like 10 Landos though, because those were always like, I don't know,
Oh,
they're available. And so
I never had Lando.
I had a whole bunch of them. I don't know, but I only had one stormtrooper. So, go figure.
Oh, I did have a stormtrooper. Oh, and Boba.
Everyone had Boba Fett. Boba was awesome.
Yeah.
I did have the toys though. I had the X-Wing and the Millennium Falcon, and we had the Death Star. And then the ice base of Hoth, and the orange plane that went, the Sky City one, and then the bombers, the Y-wing bombers. Yeah.
Oh, my brother did have a TIE fighter.
We had a TIE fighter too.
The Darth Vader one. In my memory, it had those angled wings,
Yep.
because that was badass. But I could be wrong. Maybe it was just a regular. So,
I love this. We played it all the time, and that was our big things. I didn't have I don't remember really being able to buy like lightsabers. Maybe you could. I do remember like later on in like the 90s when the other movies came out, that was available. But for me as a kid, we had glow in the dark swords, but we pretended were lightsabers. But I
Sure.
never had a lightsaber type of thing. Maybe there were. It was too expensive, or my parents didn't want to do that.
I vaguely remember seeing a handle of one for something, but I don't know if that was old or new, or like when that was, if that was from the 70s or from the 90s. I don't know.
Which one is of the original 3? We haven't talked about Jedi much, but which one is your?
I'm gonna have to say just the original Star Wars, because that's what got everything going for me. That was what sparked the interest. And like I said, we had the reel to reel, so it definitely holds a place in the
Nostalgic
heart.
thing there for you
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
And you
Empire
said,
obviously was
Yeah.
fun, but Jedi for me is my favorite.
okay,
I think it's because one, Luke comes back as a badass, and then the green lightsaber, I was just blown away by. This is so cool. And really get Slay Leia. Come on, you can't go on with that either. There's a lot of things.
yeah, he did. Yeah, I don't know. Empire Strikes Back, I could do without Ewoks.
They were in the Return of the Jedi, though.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Return of the Jedi. Sorry. You know what? It's all blur.
I had read somewhere doing research for this episode that the Ewoks were actually originally supposed to be Wookiees, Wookiee planet, but because of budgets, they couldn't really afford it. What? No, I think it was costumes and just time and that kind of stuff.
Actually, I don't know where my note is, and I don't know the actor's name, but he was in Phantom, but he was a little person, and
Warwick Davis.
yes,
Yeah, he played Willow.
yes, I was gonna say he was in that old movie, and I saw that. I'm like, holy cow, I didn't realize.
That's his
that's
first
awesome.
movie. He was 11 years old to do that. That's
Seriously?
crazy. Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow.
Imagine.
So there's 9 movies in the series. Obviously, there's a crap ton of spin-offs.
There's actually a little 11 if you count Rogue One and Solo.
Oh, and
You're talking about the Skywalker series, right?
yes,
Okay.
correct. So, which one of those Skywalker series is your favorite?
Return of the Jedi for sure. And the original 3, the ones in the 90s, Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith was good. Like, I like that
Yeah.
one. But the other 3 were, and I actually don't mind what Disney has done with them. I didn't really care for the 3 Skywalker ones, but I liked Rogue One a lot.
Yeah,
Love Solo. I thought that was fun.
I think those are a little bit, like you said, they're well done.
Mhm.
But man, I just watched in preparation for this. I watched Phantom.
It's bad.
What a crappy movie!
It's like you take this kids movie here, and then let's make the plot this political embargo. What the fuck? Like, what? That's the whole thing. Is this big embargo of this trade embargo, and
Yeah.
I guess we're living some of that right now. So who knows? Maybe it's the
Yeah.
real.
Oh, maybe it's
imitating
all-
art, But yeah, it was bad.
I tell you what, too, what doesn't, and maybe it's just in hindsight, like the technology sucked, but all the CGI and everything, it's like watching a cartoon with a couple real people walking in the screen for me. Like very obvious that it's not real. But
Well, think about this though, man. Jurassic Park was in '94. The technology was there and the ability was there. I just feel like it was, I don't know. Maybe it stood out to us more because we've seen that movie so much that it was like, oh, and it really does. There is a clear difference between what the new stuff is put in there and not. I think because it just stands out so much. It's so crisp and clear compared to everything else in the background.
like I said, I thought I'm gonna say technology, but you're right that it did exist. Some of it doesn't even look real. It really does look like a cartoon. Like you're watching a cartoon with, like I said, just live actors clearly on a blue screen. And you were telling me that Jar Jar is one of your favorite characters.
Just shut the fuck up, dude. God,
His voice is really annoying.
It is, and it takes you out completely right away. Like I think that character felt forced. It felt like it's trying to be clever and fun, and you really just became annoying all around.
Is he Jamaican?
I don't know. And is that appropriation or whatever?
I think that Jar Jar was just a comedic element that they wanted to add into the movie to be able to break things up. For me, it was more annoying than anything else. It didn't work.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was that, and also trying to have that kid element, like some of these younger kids can gravitate to, which, when Elijah was younger, he enjoyed it, obviously, but then as he grew older, he was like, shut up. Like,
So-
I think there's a point where you might grow out of Jar Jar.
Nobody grew into Jar Jar. And that's maybe it was just a marketing thing. I found it annoying. I found it difficult to follow what he was saying. If the king or whatever his title is, I found him hard to understand. And I get it. I'm old. The whole them splashing their face around and spitting a little bit.
Yeah,
I think
come on.
that's just
Right.
unnecessary. And what with ears that flop around? I don't know what the fuck those are.
I have
I'm
to
not a
say
fan.
though, here's my problem with those three movies though, and I don't know. I've done no research on this, and I'm not talking to anybody else about this. So this might go against the popular opinion. I don't know, but I went back and watched Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and I gotta say, my problem with it is Natalie Portman. Like every scene she's in, she just drags the entire thing down. I remember when it was coming out, everyone was going, "Oh, Christian Haydenson, I don't know if he's going to pull off being Darth Vader." I don't think he's the best actor, but I don't think he did a bad job. If you really watch it objectively and watch him, he's trying to save the scene from Natalie. And she has no chemistry on there. I don't have anything against her as an actress, but I don't know. I think she drags it down. If you go back and watch it, I challenge anyone to go back and tell me that Natalie Portman isn't the reason that those
Yeah.
sucks.
Yes. Besides that, I can't say that I disagree with you. It didn't bother me nearly as much. I thought it was interesting that she had a different costume for every scene. Like, when does she have time during this battle to go and
Right.
change her hair and her lipstick? Whatever.
It's a mega costume too. It's not even something that this is like 10 hours to get into.
Was that supposed to be all her hair and that thing? I don't know. It didn't take away from it for me. Her performance didn't add anything to it for me either. So
How about the newer movies that came out more recently, like The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi?
So I've never seen any of them in their entirety. Force Awakens, I thought that was pretty good. I think maybe it's just because I'm of a certain age that it doesn't hold a candle to. I guess right there that shows it. If I say it doesn't hold a candle, but
What's
it
a
doesn't-
candle?
It doesn't hold up to the original three for me.
Yeah. You know what was interesting? Like Force Awakens, I didn't mind it when it came out. I actually enjoyed it. But the more I thought about it, it's the exact same story as New Hope. It's just told in a more modern way. So I didn't really care for that after that. Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. I loved Rogue One, and I thought Solo was fun as well. But I think it's time for them to move away from the whole Skywalker story anyway. We know that. Let's get a new story out there. Let's give us a whole nother universe. And I know they're starting to explore that a little bit with, obviously with Rogue One, they did that, but we really don't have another good story about anyone else in the universe. All Skywalker.
Yeah. He's interesting. I don't know. Yeah, I've never seen any of those shows, so I don't know because I don't have Disney. But yeah, I agree. In this whole universe, we only have 3 people to talk about.
Mandalorian is pretty good. I would recommend that one. That was fun. I couldn't get into Obi-Wan.
I'd like to see any of them. I have not seen any of them.
I started Book of Boba Fett too, and I couldn't get past a couple episodes, but maybe it was just I wasn't really focusing on it at that time.
Yeah.
I do want to go back and watch them.
Yeah. So I'm sure you did the same thing. I had to Google random facts about Star Wars. This is so bad. Do you know why episodes 4, 5, and 6 came out before 1, 2, and 3?
Why?
Because in charge of directing Yoda was. Isn't that awful?
That's pretty bad. Yes.
So I Googled a bunch of random Star Wars facts. I'm sure you probably saw some of them too, but
Let's hear 'em. Actually, I didn't Google Star Wars facts. I just put a bunch of notes of things that I liked about it. So
based on the original trilogy, give me a ballpark guess on the estimated deaths that were in the first 3 movies. Now, remind you, a big Death Star blew up.
Endor
And
the whole
yeah.
planet. So
Yeah.
it's got to be billions.
It is a little over 2 billion people estimated. I don't know who sits there and has time for figuring that out, but fun. Maybe you already know this, that the original Star Wars almost caused an actual war.
No, I did not know this one.
So when they were trying to do the desert scenes in Tatooine, George Lucas found a really good spot in Tunisia. And what nobody thought about was that Tunisia is on the border of Libya, which was ruled by Muammar Gaddafi at the time. And he thought that the Sandcrawler was actually a big tank that somebody had built to attack him. And so he sent off a notice like, you guys better back the F up. And so they had to relocate their scenes to further inland.
Wow. Interesting. I did not see that. That's really interesting.
I'm like, oh, that's pretty funny.
I do know that
And
you can
then-
go like tourism and that kind of stuff. Like I saw that you can go and visit the place where you
Yeah.
live.
Yeah,
That was
they have
kinda
I think they built the homes and stuff, and then they just left them.
have an Amberu barbecue right there, and
And then I saw that May the 4th was first referenced, I guess, try it again. Margaret Thatcher, when she became the prime minister, was on May the 4th of 1979. And somebody at the London Evening News newspaper made a headline that said, May the 4th be with you. And that, at least that's the first documented reference to it. So,
interesting.
and no, everybody does it.
But I don't remember it really becoming really popular mainstream until maybe mid-90s. I don't remember hearing about it before that. It wasn't until like I was already out of college.
I was gonna say, or later. What?
Who was your favorite character of all? Like who'd you relate to most when you were a kid?
My favorite action figure and character was Boba Fett. I just thought he was a badass, and so I liked him. I think when I was younger, I was more blonde, so it was all about Luke Skywalker. What about you? Who's your favorite character?
I'm probably the same as you. I was blonde as well, and so Luke was where I was at. I always enjoyed Han Solo, obviously, as well. I thought he was cool. I was always Luke.
You were bigger, so you get to decide who you were.
That's true. That's right.
I was surprised you weren't Chewie more often.
No. I can't even make the noise because that's why.
I thought you used to be able to.
No,
Oh.
not that one. Which
What
other one?
noise do you make? You have some explaining to do.
I found a couple fun discussion questions. Is the Death Star a strategic nightmare? You mentioned this earlier, first about these vast pits of people to fall on. Let's just talk real quick about Obi-Wan had to go drop the shield on that stupid fucking platform that's a foot wide. Who the hell makes that?
They're trying to deter people from going to do that. But I think it's interesting that your whole shield defense is a little lever.
Right.
Oh, no. Oh, there you go. You could have
I
played
can make those noises. Yes.
you could have played the defense mechanism there. That's yeah, just what was it, like 3 of them, right? And what a dumb, like, why wouldn't you put that someplace a little bit more secure? I guess over this big pit is maybe a deterrent, but what a dumb design.
That's one to handle. That's it. And you have to manually do it, like really as well. That's the
Yeah. I don't know.
I wonder how they got back and forth because we know that the Millennium Falcon is light speed. We never saw the Death Star do light speed, but we know it has to because otherwise it's years and years to get there.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of things actually in all the movies that are like that, like Phantom Menace. The one scene with who is that? Darth Maul. They're having their lightsaber fight, and
Yeah, it's like
there's like a security thing with
lasers.
it puts up a little shield for 10 seconds and then it shuts off, and you got to go in little stages. Why not just have it up? Why do you keep turning it off? Oh, we're going to guard this some of the time.
But you have to run
Right.
through it now. Oh, now.
I don't know. I guess it's great for the movie, but even then, I'm watching that. This is about the dumbest defense I've ever seen. Like,
The Empire.
well, here's a door. Oh, we do have one little kill switch that if you hit that, the whole planet blows up. Huh? Why would you design it like that? I don't know. Am I thinking too much about it?
No, you're right. I think that's exactly it. I think that's the biggest flaw. Do you think the Empire was the good guys or the bad guys? Obviously, we're for the rebels. I think there's some theories out there that they were just trying to restore order in the galaxy.
I think if they didn't have a leader who was going around choking people, that maybe be less quote unquote bad. I've thought about that. And not many people enjoy having a dictator, but yes, I have seen that theory out there as well. Maybe these rebels were just hoodlums and they're trying to keep them from causing problems. It's an interesting theory.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. I don't know. I think I'm always for the rebels because I'm not big on government.
Law and order.
Being super all into your shit. So
Being told what to do.
that's right. Can't tell me.
Trade embargo.
Stupid trade embargo. Going back to that, man. So there's a thing out there. There's an order that you can watch the originals. Those 6 in there. And if you skip over Phantom Menace, you don't lose a thing in the entire story. because it gave away stuff like, oh, Luke and Leia are brother and sister, which we learn later on anyway. It gave away the backstory of Darth. Who cares where he was as a kid? Because really, you can pick it up right at episode 2 and be just fine.
Hey, I'm totally on board for ditching Phantom Menace. That was crap in my book. I tell you what I did appreciate is, what's the 6th one that came out? Or
Revenge of the Sith.
yeah. So the ending of that, how they tied that right into the original Star Wars, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty tight. And that was of those movies, that's my favorite one. And that whole fight scene is pretty impressive. But again, let's have it on the big rafters in front of moving lava, because why not?
Because that makes sense. Seriously. I guess, again, as a kid, I loved the movies, but like in hindsight, man, that was pretty stupid. But I love the story. I do love Star Wars. I like the characters. Overall, I like the storyline.
Yeah. I have some friends who are super into it, and they still buy the toys. I'm not into that so much. I have a couple I actually have my Millennium Falcon in its box here, which is cool because my parents kept everything. When we moved so much, we just kept the boxes because we put things back in there. I have that, but I'm not really, I need to go check out and collect Star Wars stuff. It's cool, and if it's out, maybe I'll see it, but I've not seen, like you, a lot of the TV shows. I've seen The Mandalorian, and I did see Andor, which is cool. So
did you see this? I don't remember the episode, but I guess R2D2 was on Sesame Street.
I seem to remember, I do remember having Luke Skywalker.
I don't remember this, so I had to look. It came up as one of the facts. Yeah, apparently R2D2, the verbiage is that he fell in love with something that looked similar to him. A fire hydrant. I get it. It's Sesame Street, but yeah. So I thought this was interesting. Which species is Yoda?
Yeah, I don't know. I think there is some kind of canon out there in the deep like lore of stuff with the books and whatever else that kind of explains that. But I don't think they ever acknowledge that in the movie.
You say a little person again?
Half the price, man.
Yeah, he was supposed to be it was originally going to be a monkey.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
Oh, that would have been awful.
And originally they were going to have him just as a ghost spirit, but what they did obviously with him.
I feel that in a way, Yoda, it's not that he saved the franchise, but I think he just brought in a whole new element to all of it that I think at the time he was instrumental in.
Yeah, I think so. It helped explain the Force more, and it helped get you a better perspective of what goes into being a Jedi. And I think that's, for us kids, that was huge.
That's what I'm saying. And I think, tell me you didn't try to lift up a box or a crate and move across the swamp.
Yeah. One of the things, actually, that's a good point, because going back to the Phantom Menace, one of the things I hated about that too is all of a sudden they're checking this guy's midichlorians, and his midichlorian count is this, which means it's already in your blood. You were born with it, which takes away the mystique of anyone else being able to become a Jedi. Prior to that, you could be a Jedi. I could be a Jedi. We can all figure this out. But, I had to have the right blood for it? That all of a sudden takes that whole thing out of it. And I feel like that kind of also ruined some of the Force for it, because of the mystique of it.
Do they actually say that's the only way you could become a Jedi?
Hey, I don't know if they say it's the only way, but like those midichlorian counts are high, and I've never seen midichlorians like this. Like, it's still like very much referencing the science behind his blood versus like just saying, man, this guy's got a lot of power. I've never seen Force so strong in this person. That's all they had to say. Yeah.
I do think we would not be doing any favors if we didn't mention Weird Al.
Yeah.
His Saga Begins is
amazing. And Yoda, he did Yoda as well. He did a song called Yoda back in the day. You remember 84?
Oh, that's right. Holy cow, I forgot about that.
Yoda, Yoda. Yeah, that's right. That's huge.
From the Kinks. Yeah.
Marketing right to the right people. Weird Al was huge when I was the same. Yeah. I was this age watching this stuff. I was also very much.
Yeah. That was, unheard of, doing parodies. And I mean, that was huge. But man, you listen to The Saga Begins and you don't even need to watch the movie. You got the whole thing in that 5-minute song.
There you go. Listen to that instead of watching the movie. We promise it's better.
Oh my gosh. 1,000%. Just listen to the song. All right, cool.
One last question I have for you. What's your thoughts on Disney and what they're doing with Star Wars? I know it's controversial in the world of Star Wars. They purchased it in 2012. Thoughts?
So I'm not a huge Disney fan. I'm not a Disney hater. And since I'm so removed from the whole franchise now, I don't really care. It doesn't bother me that Disney bought it, and probably a brilliant move for Lucas. I don't know how
Yeah.
much he got for that, but I'm sure it
I'm
was
sure
a
you got a pretty penny. Yeah, exactly.
I so now I think that Disney, and it could have been any park, but probably a really good strategic move on their part because they can incorporate that into their theme
Right.
parks. I think those are probably more interesting to me now than the movies. So yeah, I'm okay with it. But
I am
Yeah.
too, actually. I like it. I feel like obviously the first three were where, for me, that's the original Star Wars is always where it's going to be. I didn't really care for the stuff that George Lucas put out afterwards. And I feel like when Disney purchased it, they put it back on the right track. Those other three movies, the Skywalker movies, they weren't great. But I do feel like they rebooted it a little bit and tried to at least wrap up the story, if nothing else. And then what they've done on the other side of things, like the Rogue One movie and the TV shows, I feel like those are really fun because you can really get into the depth of a character. I'm really happy with it. The ride is cool too, as well. I did that when we went down to Disney in Florida a few years back. Awesome.
To answer your question, I'm good with it.
Yeah, me too. How about the C3PO beer? One last time, what's your rating?
C3
IPA.
Yeah, for me, it's maybe a 2.5, someplace in there. Nothing against the beer. It's just it exploded all over me and my floor, and my hands are all sticky now from the beer.
Sure.
And yeah, it definitely is mellowed out. It's not as bitter, but yeah, not my jam.
Yeah, I'd say it's about a 2.5 to a 3 for me. I don't mind it. It's not bad. I could drink it. I don't know that I go out ordering it ever, but again, I don't really go out ordering IPAs a lot either. But of IPAs, I like the sweetness of it. Overall, I'd say 2.5.
All right,
So,
2.5. That's how we'll log it on Untapped.
there you go. There you go.
Who's
Once
this
again,
from?
C3 IPA by Bear Brewing Company out in Denver, Colorado. And check them out.
Very cool.
Thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate it. If you like what you listen to and you want to learn more about us, you can visit us at aysm.show. From there, you can also see all of our socials, link to other episodes, and you make some comments or send us some money or send us a message. Say hi.
Buy some beer. Yeah.
Buy us a beer. Yeah, good stuff. Good talking about Star Wars. I need to go watch the run again. It's been a while, so.
Yeah. Stick with the first three. That's my opinion.
Thank you for hanging out with us. Be sure to check us out next time because we're going to be talking about.
Boom. Boom.